What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fi here, flying solo today. Sheets is out. Hope he's having a good weekend. I'm just going through my builds here. These exposures are going to change and everything. I'm going to rerun some stuff. I thought I'd talk through the slate a little bit and what I like. I thought I'd go game by game again. My allergies are a little better, so I am able to show my face. It was a weird allergy attack. I've had it off and on a couple days, and I'm getting it checked out next week because I'm not sure really what's happening. So, starting with FanDuel for a change. I'm going to move my cores and all that stuff over. And one thing we did, we went in the Discord for any site member and went to up to the minute more type of builds, and I'm going to be doing that more often as well as late swap. Today, I don't think the late swapping is going to be as effective or as important, but in general, as we know with NBA, that's pretty much the name of the game. Although, look, it could be today. We still have some questionable tags. There's been eerily quiet considering maybe it just feels quiet because the trade deadline's over. But it was like it felt really, really quiet to me today compared to what it had been. So I updated some things. I changed the projection on some players that I wanted to get more exposure to. As you can see, Wembanyama being one of them. And let me just move this over. My screen is not letting me move. All right, well, I'll figure that out later. All right, so anyway, oops. All right, whatever. You can see my cores. It's fine. Anyway, we have value. It's less value on FanDuel than DraftKings. These Vucevic / Holmes are less of must plays. I'm riding more with Vucevic, and they go younger and they just try to see what they got. I'm going to end up with more Vucevic than I do of Holmes. At the moment, I've got more Holmes, but that's going to change. I will mess with the projections a little bit just to get me there. In fact, I'll do that right now. But let's go through each game and see what. Oh, we have Josh Green out. I don't even know why I had him in, but whatever. We'll figure that one out in a little bit when we rebuild. Andre Drummond is now questionable for today. Okay, that's something. Is he really going to play? All right. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Anyway, so I did go through a few tweaks of different things that I was going to do for each side. As you can see, I did bump up the projection on Wembanyama. I feel like this might be the huge game for him. I know we saying that it hasn't been like the massive performances we saw earlier in the season, but this is like the kind of matchup where I feel like he's just going to crush. I really want to bump that projection up a hefty bit, so I did. He's really the only one who's a priority for me on the San Antonio side. But on the Charlotte side, on the other hand, San Antonio plays the second fastest of any team in the NBA. So I do think we want to get some exposure to Charlotte, even though they probably get smoked. LaMelo, when he comes back and plays, he does tend to play his minutes. So we've got him right now at 34.5 minutes. That might be a little bit aggressive, but I like it. I like the play on FanDuel. Look, he's 9,800. Very, very hard not to be overweight for me on that. Nick Smith, I currently am getting to more than I'd like. So I want to actually downgrade his projection a little bit. I'm not sure I love where he's being projected at. So just make it a little bit. When I rerun, it'll probably affect things a little bit. Diabate is a little bit more expensive over here, more of a play on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. And and then the Miles Bridges is I think a core play for me on FanDuel. A great matchup for him. And we want to target these Hornets in this matchup. And his price is 8,400 versus 9K on DraftKings. Certainly easier to play on FanDuel for him. All right, moving over to Cleveland, Washington. Look, I get the love for a lot of this stuff. It's a great matchup, obviously. I'm sort of letting the projections just roll because I don't really want to mess with. Like, I don't want to go out of my way to play these Cleveland guys, and then the games that they're up by 30 in the first quarter, or some crazy stuff like when the Lakers played Washington a couple weeks back. I really think that I'm just going to sort of let it roll, and I'll get what I get. But I am not overwhelmingly in love with all of this. I'm fine with the Ty Jerome thing, but nothing that I'm going out of my way to try to get. You can see I'm getting some decent exposure here, but like it's all going to be in the lottery. I just don't feel great about the high buy-in side of the Cleveland thing. Even in a great matchup, I think Jerome makes the most sense. But these other guys are going to crush while they're on the court. So having some exposure makes sense. I just don't want to overcommit. And then we have to get to it's obviously Cleveland plays pretty fast. Washington plays fast. Hopefully Washington keep the game close because it's going to be really hard not to get a lot of exposure to Washington no matter what you do. The Brogdon thing could kill some of Carrington. I'm getting to more on DraftKings than I am on FanDuel. Remove that core play on FanDuel. And like I said, I'm going a little bit higher on Vucevic. I'm going to go a little bit lower on Holmes, and sort of let it cook, with a little more Vucevic than Holmes. Even though at the moment I have more Holmes than Vucevic, I have to rerun things. Kaishan George Carrington priorities on DraftKings more than FanDuel, and there's a lot of bodies healthy for them. So for what it's worth, like it's kind of hard to Jordan Poole is one that SaberSim always wants to give me 1,000,000% of. Today is one day I'm kind of letting them. I don't love it, and I might reconsider that after I get through with my final builds. Miami and Brooklyn, no idea why this spread is so close. I actually really like Miami in this game. Getting to some of Bam, but nobody who's really a priority for me on FanDuel other than that. I think that if there was anything, I would probably bump up this projection a little bit on Hero. So I don't mind getting to a little more Hero than I currently got in my latest run. On the Brooklyn side, the only guy I changed the projection on was D'Angelo Russell. Still not a good enough point per dollar on FanDuel. I think he is a play on DraftKings, but I really am having a hard time getting to much of anything on Brooklyn tonight. Milwaukee, Atlanta, and guys, say what's up and ask questions in the chat. I'm gonna, like when Cheats is not here, I said I'm gonna keep these shows a little bit shorter and then just go live in our Discord for all of our premium members because I want them to get the up to the minute stuff. You can see I bumped up the. I just think this matchup is so primed. Let's make it 60. It doesn't have to be 61, but whatever. I do want to get over the field on Giannis. I do want to be a little bit over the field on Lillard, just because this matchup is like Atlanta plays the fastest pace in the NBA. We've got still got Kuzma questionable. I'm totally good with both Giannis and Dame. These other plays are going to depend on what happens with Kuzma, so we won't know that probably until 7:30 Eastern. As of right now, seems like he might play, but I was a little surprised that he was just ready to go right off the bat. I thought that they would roll without him for one. Anyway, Trae Young going to be a priority for me. 9,500. The one who I think we have to start bumping these projections up a little bit is this Dyson Daniels. He's been better than his projection, basically like a ton lately. He's got a big ceiling. This is a great pace matchup. Milwaukee's not playing as fast as they have in years past, but still fast enough, and Atlanta creates their own pace. I do like Daniels quite a bit. Trae, I'm just going to leave him at the 47.46, and I think I'm going to end up getting to a fair bit of Daniels by the end of it. And then also because he's got power forward eligibility over here, I'm definitely getting to some of the Okongwu. Seems like a little more than I thought I would get, but I'm okay with it. I actually don't mind the play at all. Embiid, okay, 10-6, a little bit more expensive on FanDuel, more of a play on DraftKings. Still going to bump him up just a tiny bit on FanDuel. Maybe we go even a little bit higher. It's a good matchup. Let's go a little bit higher. 54 seems reasonable. I think he's being a little bit under projected for what it's worth. His minutes are at 33. He played 36 in the last game. This should be close. I have no idea why Philadelphia is favored in this game. Like, I even if they win the game, whatever, maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know what's going on. I thought like Detroit was going to sit some people or something. I think Detroit should be the favorite in this game. I don't really understand why they wouldn't be at home. On the Detroit side, not getting to anything major from a DFS perspective. Not a great matchup for Duren. Price is reasonable. Asar Thompson, if anything happens with this Cunningham, Asar Thompson, obviously, and then we're going to talk about Ron Holland as well, especially on DraftKings, where he's even cheaper. Toronto and OKC. I think Magbo, like, yeah, it's value that I'm okay eating. I'm totally happy to have just as much of Chris Boucher. Either one is fine with me. I don't mind eating a little bit of this chalk value. Jacoby Walter, super cheap, don't mind eating that. Grady Dick, don't mind eating some of that. Pretty much, just playing with the field. Didn't really change any projections. Sort of rolling with the Toronto value as it's there. Jalen Williams is my favorite play from OKC, but I'm not getting much of him. I don't know why I ended up with a tiny bit of Lou Dort. That's just going to be in the lottery. It doesn't bother me at 4,700 versus Toronto. This game should be an absolute waxing. For what it's worth, I'll just drop it down a little bit, and then I'll rerun those a little bit later. I'll jump over to DraftKings and talk about it more from an overall standpoint. We have this Vucevic Holmes thing. I think you can play them together. They're playing against a team that plays double bigs. There's a chance they could actually see minutes at the same time. But I really like Wemby tonight, as I mentioned, and I want to be in the Wemby business. So I'm going to use him at center in some of those builds, and you can see I'm going to be well over the 15% expected ownership on Wemby. I did bump his projection up quite a bit, and I think it is a realistic projection that I put out there. Magbo, I dropped down a tiny bit, still getting plenty of them. It's just maybe it was make it 23 instead of 22.5. I think there's bust paths for some of these Toronto and Washington guys, but I'm still going to have to, look, it's just too much value to ignore. Guys like Jalen Tyson are going to be a little bit forgotten. On other slates, they'd be massive chalk. I like being overweight that play. And then just, looking at some of the, over under, whether I'm over or under, I'm a little bit under on Carrington, but that feels wrong. I feel like we should be using this play. I actually think I should probably get a little bit more Carrington by the end of it. Hopefully the bump ups of some of these studs will get me there. Chris Boucher, again, getting about with the field. Mogbo, slightly below, but probably going to end up near the field. Vukcevic, I'm going to probably end up with more than I have of Holmes because I did earlier change the projections on them. I'm going to change them again, actually. I like Vukcevic here, and so I'm gonna roll with that. I did bump up Giannis's projection a little bit, as you guys can see. And Embiid, I think we're going to get to some anyway, but not as much as I thought. So I'm just going to make him a little bit higher. This is a good matchup, and it's still Joel Embiid. I feel like we're kind of forgetting that he puts up big numbers. I feel like he's being a little bit overlooked maybe as an option. Now look, there's the center stuff, but I'm surprised. I don't know where Embiid's going to end up ownership wise. I don't know where Wemby's going to be because it feels hard to play them. I'm going to assume that Vukcevic and Holmes will both be significantly higher than they're currently being projected for. That's just my guess. For what it's worth, Quentin Grimes is in today, and Connect and Nurkic are out officially for Charlotte, which, again, speaks to having the value we have for Charlotte. All right. LaMelo's in. Yep, we got that one. Thanks, MJ. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, Squatch. Thanks, man. Appreciate the kind words. And with that said, I'm going to just – one other guy I want to bump up the projection on is D'Angelo Russell. I want to do it over here. Again, this hasn't worked out quite yet for me. I don't need to go crazy with it, but I'm certainly going to be over the 1% ownership. Let's make him, let's go to 31 and see if we can get some D'Angelo Russell into some of our builds. I do think there's upside for him, and point guards actually have done better against Miami this year than I think they have in years past. Let me just take a quick look at something for Russell, because they just aren't letting him cook. And he played 15 minutes in the last game, 26 the game before. He really hasn't played that big minute game. When he has, it's one 30-minute game with Brooklyn. He put up 50. I think there's upside for him here, and I just want to take that gamble when no one else is taking it. Would it surprise any of us if we woke up and or we look later and D'Angelo Russell's got 40+ fantasy points? I don't think so. So I like that. I like to go a little bit. Maybe we'll even go a little bit higher just to get some of them, because he's still not going to look. He's right about 5x. Let's just take a little gamble on that one. As I mentioned, I raised Giannis's projection. I raised Lillard's projection. I'm giving a little bit of a boost to this. And then I really do want to raise Dyson Daniels' projection. I think it's a little too low, and we'll make it 36. And that's probably going to get us a little bit more of him than we currently were at. So let's rebuild with that. I'm going to probably transfer over to the other Discord so I can talk one-on-one with everybody who's a site member and paying a site member. We do have some great offers out there. We've got some new tools that we're developing as well. Goldie's and Sheets' projections have been awesome. I always say that for NBA, probably best to use the SaberSim projection just because of the rapid fire information. It's really hard for the other projection sets to catch up. But for every other sport, I use basically Goldie's or Sheets, or a combination of Goldie, Sheets, and SaberSim, which you can do by clicking this button here. You can get the average. Sheets didn't post today, obviously, because he's not here. But it's a really cool way to differentiate yourself, even from other SaberSim users. And those projection sets have been awesome all year. No problem, Robert. Thanks for being here with us. All right, I love to hear that. I won't regret joining. We really are about trying to make people better players. We're setting up some coaching roundtable discussions. We've got a sign-up list. If you're a site member, jump in on that list. Goldie posted it a few days back. It's in the announcements channel, and we're going to do much more coaching. We're going to do much more with just going into Discord and having back and forth with everybody. We really, because we're a smaller site, we can really touch every single person who's a member. So we want to try and answer every question. We want to try and help every way. And the goal is to win, but the goal is to improve your process, keep getting better. And that's what we're really catering to. So if you want to become a better DFS player, or even if you're an experienced one, we're offering a very similar, we have all the SaberSim stuff, and we just add a little bit on top of it. All of Cruz's content. Shout out to Brandon Cruz for the 50x ROI last night in the NBA, which is, he's our NASCAR guy and just crushed the NBA last night, which was great to see. Brandon's a great guy. Goldie does a great job. Like I mentioned, Sheets' projections are awesome, as well as his instructional videos. Other ones that I wanted to highlight were Rody's playbook. We use it more for MLB and NFL than we do for NBA, but it's he's awesome, and he's obviously had a lot of success throughout his career. All of my exact exposures up to the minute, as close to the minute as possible in the NBA. It's a little harder to go, but you'll see exactly what I'm doing in each site. Post all my cores, all my bets, which have been just awesome over the last couple of years. Even if DFS was bad, the bets have been phenomenal. So I've been hanging in there. We also have Kenny doing some golf stuff for us now. We'll get Chan back for League of Legends season if I can. We haven't talked to him in a while, but he's done some work with us as well. So we're really trying to expand the site. Adam Perry is doing a lot of NHL stuff for us and some of the quote unquote other sports, MMA. I just looked at, and by the way, Sheets is the #1 ranked soccer DFS player in the world. He's also the #3 ranked MMA player. I wonder how many people actually realize that about Sheets, because he doesn't max enter all of the stuff like some other guys do, and it's pretty amazing that he can get to that level without playing in absolutely everything max entering. Great to hear, Robert. Glad to hear that. Giannis out. Okay, so this slate just took a giant turn. It does explain the spread a little bit to me, so we're gonna just take first step with that. We'll just make sure that we don't have any of them, because that would be obviously a nightmare. So we'll just make him 0, his ownership 0, and it'll update shortly. But I just want to make sure for my own neurosis that that's what we do. Okay. I don't think you're going to leave money on the table tonight, but I would be less opposed to leaving like 800 on the table than I normally would be, because we do have some value, and it's going to be interesting to see how these builds end up working out, because that Giannis news is obviously massive. We're going to have to wait for the projections to update. Let me just go over to FanDuel, make sure I have no Giannis. Okay, give me the little thing. Oh, where's my Giannis? Huh. That's weird how it updated on one, but not on the other. Okay, 0. And we'll make the ownership 0. There it is. Now it's updating. And then we'll just do this. So I can make sure, one thing, if you use SaberSim or you use TrueDFS/SaberSim, make sure that you hit these buttons. Make sure you always do that, even if you're gonna rebuild anyway. Occasionally there can be a glitch where you could end up with a player stuck in your lineup. So make sure you always hit this quick swap button, and then it'll rebuild. Then do the rebuild. And we're going to wait to rebuild, because there's really no point in rebuilding until we get the Milwaukee updated projections. Word on Kuzma. Kuzma is in, and Jericho Sims is available to make his Bucks debut. That's not one I'm going to be chasing after very excitedly, but yeah, going to finish up these builds, and we'll wait for this projection updates. Then we'll finish up these builds. But I'm probably going to get out of here. In the meantime, I will pop into the Discord channel and do all that stuff. MJ said this earlier. He said he might be hurt about the Middleton trade. It is a weird trade, I have to say. I don't entirely get it, because I feel like Middleton, even if he's only healthy like half the time, is just much more valuable than Kuzma. And if you can go, this team's trying to win a championship. You get a little burst, a little more explosiveness with Kuzma, but do you really need that? I don't know. It's a little weird to me. Dort out. That's good to know as well. Thank you for being on top of it, MJ. Core for DK. If you're a site member, I posted it. I'm not going to go through it again. I'm not going to just give away free stuff in general. So I love doing the shows for free, but we gotta at some point start to cater to our actual subscribers. Sorry about that, Derek. That's just where I'm at. Cruz and I did a one-on-one last week. After takedown last night, we talked a little bit with Bobby, and let's go, Temming. I love to hear that stuff. That's awesome. Join. Let's do it. And also hit the like button if even if you're not a member. Just hit the like button for us. We do these videos for free, and it always helps with the with our growth, and we appreciate it. All right, Dort out. So let's get Dort out of here, and then I'm probably going to go, because it's going to take a good 15-20 minutes for these projections to update. So we're going to have to wait on that. Let's go to Dort 0-0. I don't think the Dort news is going to be all that relevant, except for not playing him. Yeah, maybe there's some spots open up, like an Isaiah Joe. You just have so much value. I'm not sure you need it, but you might get to a little bit of it for OKC. It's possible. Dort plays a lot of minutes. All right, we'll just make sure Dort is at 0. And This is just for my own neurosis. We don't need to be playing. We don't need to be playing him anyway. But just making sure that he is in fact out there. Okay. All right, guys. Again, we're getting the first refresh in, but it's gonna take a while for them to be accurate. So I'm gonna reconvene with the Discord at around 6:40 Eastern, and we'll do the live show from there. Connaughton out. Appreciate that, MJ, and we'll just make sure that we weren't gonna get to Connaughton anyway. But in fact, I don't even know that. Maybe he was already. Did he not have a projection? What am I missing here? Why is Connaughton not even showing? I'm on OKC. That's why. Yeah, we'll make him just. His projection was 0 anyway. Yeah, we weren't expecting him to play before. Now he's not going to. Yes, he would have got a little bump without Giannis. Now he's not going to get any. Anyway, appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for supporting the growth of the site and the channel and everything. Let's make some money together. Join along, and as much as you can. Like I know it's hard. It's the best time to use the free trial is right now because we got the Super Bowl coming up, and you'll have access to. If you haven't tried it yet, you have all the ultimate SaberSim package that can build you a million different lineups, different projection systems. You'll have Goldie and Sheets for the Super Bowl, and just going to be it gives you a little bit of an edge of getting different, which is the name of the game when it comes to Showdown. So jump on in, and now is a great day to do it because Sunday is the Super Bowl. It's a 3-day trial for $10.99. If you haven't tried it yet, if you like it and you win, stick with us. It's $320 a month, and we also have some cheaper packages, obviously, as well. But that is the one that I use, obviously.